in beautiful Pittsburgh. We are here at Pittsburgh Modular. You can't come to Pittsburgh without stopping by. And we're here with Richard Nickel. Hey, Richard, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing? Thanks for stopping in.
Absolutely. We're talking synths. We're talking Skinny Puppy. Tell us about this little area of PM.
This is sort of the museum portion of our tiny shop here. We have some of our past synths, some of our newer stuff. The original Lifeforms SV1 synth with the touch controller. The Microvolt, which was out for a short but wonderful period of time. Our first sort of standalone instrument, which had the synthesizer box and then a couple extra modules, but that was nice because it put it all together and it could come with a manual. Of course, we had our foundation. This is what sort of started it all. This is our first series of modules. And some newer stuff as well, the East Beast and the West Pest that we did in cooperation with Create Audio. And of course, there's a prototype of the TAIGA sitting on here, which I don't think works, but it looks nice.
Tell us about the TAIGA, because that, I've been hearing about it. I've watched some videos. It's amazing. How did that come about, and what's kind of...
The TAIGA was, we've spent the last sort of 3 years kind of rebooting Pittsburgh in our cooperation with Create Audio. We got together and we said, okay, what do we want to do? And I said, I want to do instruments. And Create said, well, think big. Let's think big. What couldn't you do before? Let's do that. So TAIGA is really, you could call it maybe the Microvolt version 2, but it really stands on its own. It takes all of sort of the greatest hits of Pittsburgh and puts them in one box. You have 3 huge oscillators, each one with a dedicated wave folder. Then you have that super warm Pittsburgh filter and analog all through it. You have our Pittsburgh Dynamics, which is sort of a VCA low pass gate combo, and then some analog delay in there as well. Again, all analog, and it really is sort of the greatest hits of what we've done up until that point.
That's fantastic. And, you know, following along as I have with the East Beast and the West Pest, sounds like you paid tribute to the quote-unquote 2 different coasts of synthesis, but then sounds like TAIGA just slams them together and then goes further.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that 2 coasts of synthesis anymore they're not separate anymore.
Exactly.
You know, analog is analog and digital is digital, and those are really blurry now too. But yeah, the East Beast and the West Pest do pull them apart, and they say, here's 2 sounds you can get out of these. It sort of represents, for someone new to synthesis or someone that wants a box that just makes a good sound, that's a good place to start. And you're right, TAIGA doesn't really pay any attention to that at all.
Richard, tell us about this prototype graveyard, as you say.
Yeah, it's sort of the corner of my office here where I store all the stuff that I can't bear to part with, but it doesn't really work anymore. So I just kind of line up all the cases are all prototype cases, and all the modules are prototype modules, and I just kind of like to look at them. They don't really work, but they're inspiring. You know, we've sort of used them. Sometimes we'll pull a knob off for something else, so you can see a lot of these are missing knobs. Some of them are, let's see what we have here. Yeah, you can see this is a good example of what you'll find over here, where we're working on, this is a second revision, where we just wanted to add another buffer in there. So we added an op-amp and we just flew it with some wires. That's a local florist prototype. So these are just little things that we have sitting over here. I've got some modules from some friends, like the Naughty Wilbur, which is a really cool oscillator. A friend of mine sent me to try out. And yeah, this is a nice little, warms the heart section of the office.
Richard, love this new space. It's really great. How long have you been up here?
We've been up here in this space for about 4 years. Once the pandemic sort of started to roll towards a close, we decided to clean it up, paint the walls, build some walls, and really make it our space, because we're transitioning from mostly manufacturing to really to be a design house. So now the space is set up perfectly for that. And it's because now we're a design house, we're constantly working on new stuff, and hopefully we'll have some more new stuff this year, if not early next year, but we're definitely always working, despite what it looks like I'm doing right now.
Taking a rare break. Well, Richard, thanks for hosting us here. And people can just go to pittsburghmodular.com, find you on all the socials.
That's the spot, pittsburghmodular.com.
And you're going to be doing any live patching streams soon? You do that. I love those.
Next weekend we have some, we try to do them every other week. I do them with Herman, Soy Sauce, Pearl, and I do them with Bus Crates. We do them every other week on the Pittsburgh Modular YouTube channel. And hopefully, yeah, starting up again next Wednesday.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. And it's Andre here from Make Weird Music, and you have helped a lot of people make a lot of weird music, so thank you. And a lot of relaxing music, too.
Warms the heart.